What if the reason you're not rich yet has nothing to do with money? What if it's not the market, not your job, not your circumstances, but the war happening inside your own mind? The part of you that dreams big fights every day with the part that's terrified of losing control. You feel it, don't you? That quiet tug between wanting more and fearing what it might take to get it. You scroll through success stories, imagining your name there. You tell yourself it's possible. Yet something invisible keeps pulling you back. It's not bad luck. It's not the system. It's not even a lack of skill. It's the mind's instinct to protect you from what it doesn't understand, because wealth isn't just earned. It's allowed. And most people never give themselves permission to have it. They've been trained to survive, not to expand, conditioned to stay safe, not to grow. That's why you work harder but stay stuck in the same loop. Different day, same fear, same ceiling. You've been told to chase money, but money runs from desperation. It hides from the anxious, the impatient, the uncertain. It only flows to those who've learned how to master themselves first. Because self-mastery is wealth's foundation. It's the difference between those who build empires and those who burn out chasing them. You can't command money if you can't command your mind. And the truth is, your mind has been wired for comfort, not creation. Every time you try to push forward, that ancient part of your brain, the one that fears change, starts whispering, be careful, stay here, it's safer this way. So you hesitate, you overthink, you talk yourself out of action, you tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, and tomorrow turns into next week, then next month, then another year of potential left untouched. But somewhere deep down, there's a voice that refuses to stay quiet, the one that knows you were built for more, the one that sees flashes of the life you could have if you stop betraying your own potential. That voice is your truth, and it's waiting for you to listen. Self-mastery begins the moment you stop negotiating with your excuses. It's not about grinding endlessly. It's about precision, focus, control. It's learning to act without waiting to feel ready, because you won't. Readiness is a lie your mind tells to delay the unknown. The people who rise, who build, who lead, they don't wait to feel ready. They move while afraid, while uncertain, while uncomfortable. That's what separates them from the rest. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every time you resist the impulse to quit, you rewire your identity. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you teach your brain that you are in control. This is the real science of success, the biology of change. It's not motivation, it's chemistry. Thoughts trigger emotions. Emotions trigger actions. Actions trigger results. And results reinforce belief. Change the thought and the loop breaks. But it's not easy. You'll fight your own nature. You'll battle impulses that feel like instinct. You'll want to escape back into comfort. But every time you push through that resistance, you gain something more valuable than money. You gain power. The power to direct your own life instead of reacting to it. Most people live like passengers, waiting for permission to steer. But self-mastery makes you the driver. You stop blaming, you stop waiting, you stop wishing, you act. And from that place of control, wealth starts to follow, not as luck, but as consequence. Because wealth isn't a number in a bank account. It's the ability to shape reality with your decisions. It's the calm confidence that no matter what happens, you can rebuild. It's freedom from fear. And it starts the moment you decide to master the only thing that truly matters, yourself. You don't need more hacks, more courses, or more secrets. You need to win the war within. Train your thoughts like muscles. Discipline your focus like art. Demand more from your future than your comfort can offer. You've already survived everything that tried to break you. Now it's time to see what happens when you stop holding back. There's no shortcut to this, but there is a path. And every step begins with the same question, the one you felt at the start. What if the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the version of you who still doubts you deserve it? You've spent years waiting for a sign, for proof that you're ready. But deep down, you already know the truth. You've been ready for a long time. You're just afraid of what happens when there are no more excuses left, because the moment you take full responsibility, there's no one left to blame. No safety net to hide behind. It's just you, your choices, and the results they create. That's the moment where the real transformation begins. The moment you stop being a passenger and take the wheel of your own life. You've been told to trust the process. But the process doesn't work unless you do. You can't just wish for change. You have to become the kind of person change responds to. Every result you want already exists in the version of you who refuses to compromise. That person isn't waiting somewhere in the future. They're buried under layers of hesitation, fear, and old stories you keep repeating. The story that says it's too late. The story that says you don't have what it takes. The story that says maybe next year, maybe after things calm down. That story is a lie designed to keep you small. The truth is nothing will change until you do. Not because life is unfair, but because the universe mirrors your energy. If you move with hesitation, you attract resistance. If you move with certainty, the world bends to your direction. That's not magic, it's alignment. The brain filters reality to match what you believe. So if you think you're stuck, you'll find proof everywhere. But when you decide that progress is your only option, your mind starts looking for ways to make it happen. What you focus on expands. What you fear persists. What you master becomes your power. The people who seem unstoppable aren't fearless. They just learned how to act faster than their doubt. They don't wait to feel confident. They build confidence through repetition. Every time they act in spite of fear, their brain learns that discomfort isn't danger, it's growth. That's how momentum is built. Not through sudden leaps, but through relentless consistency, day after day, choice after choice, moment after moment of saying, I am not who I was yesterday. But most people quit right before the shift happens. They can't see the growth because it's happening inside, quietly, invisibly. That's where faith comes in. The belief that your efforts mean something even when the results aren't visible yet. You can't see a seed growing underground, but that doesn't mean it's dead. The work you do in silence, the battles you fight when no one is watching, those moments are building the foundation of who you're becoming. You want wealth? Master patience. You want power? Master your emotions. You want freedom? Master your focus. Because money without mastery is just chaos with zeros attached. You can't build an empire on shaky ground. You can't attract abundance while operating from scarcity. Your external world will always reflect your internal order or disorder. There's a reason some people seem to multiply success wherever they go. They're not luckier. They're not smarter. They're calibrated. Their emotions, actions, and thoughts move in one direction. There's no noise, no split focus, no war within. That's the state you must reach. A mind that moves with precision and purpose, not panic. When you reach that level of control, opportunities stop feeling random. They start feeling inevitable. And yet, the cost of mastery is everything that keeps you comfortable. You will lose the version of yourself that settles for average. You will outgrow people who don't understand your drive. You will have nights of doubt, mornings of exhaustion, moments of silence where you wonder if it's worth it. It is. Because on the other side of that silence is power, the kind that doesn't scream. It radiates. You are not chasing wealth anymore. You are becoming wealth. You are aligning your thoughts, your actions, and your energy into one unstoppable force. You are building the kind of inner strength that no market crash, no rejection, no failure can take away. That's real success, the kind that stays even when everything else fades. There will come a day when you look back and realize this was the moment everything shifted. Not because something outside changed, but because you finally decided to. You stopped waiting, you stopped doubting, you started leading. And once you cross that line, there's no going back. You don't chase the world anymore. The world starts to chase you. Every time you ignore your potential, a part of you dies quietly. It doesn't scream, it fades slowly, invisibly, until one day you wake up and realize you've been living the same year over and over again. Comfort disguised as peace, routine disguised as safety. But inside, you know something's missing. That restlessness isn't failure. It's your soul refusing to accept mediocrity. It's the voice of the future calling you out of who you've been. And the longer you silence it, the louder your regrets will become. You were not born to repeat patterns. You were built to break them. Every limitation you've accepted was learned, not destined. The world around you has conditioned you to think small, move slow, stay quiet, to blend in instead of stand out. But evolution has no patience for hesitation. Life rewards those who move with conviction even when no one believes in them, especially then. Because mastery isn't proven when it's easy. It's revealed when everything inside you wants to quit and you don't. You've been told to trust timing, but the truth is, timing trusts action. Doors don't open because you wait. They open because you knock until your hands bleed. Every step you take with courage rewrites your reality. The moment you stop negotiating with fear, life starts negotiating with you. You become magnetic. The kind of person who doesn't chase opportunities, creates them. You stop asking for permission to exist at a higher level. You take it. The mind loves to tell stories about why now isn't the right time. It will remind you of your failures, your doubts, your scars. It will whisper that you need more knowledge, more money, more luck. But deep down, you know that's not true. You don't need more time. You need more truth. The truth that you are capable of more than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. The truth that mastery isn't a gift. It's a decision made in silence when no one's watching, and you choose to keep going anyway. Discipline is the ultimate form of self-respect. When you honor your word to yourself, you begin to rebuild trust within, and from that trust comes power. Because once you believe yourself, nothing can break you. You stop chasing validation. You stop seeking approval. You start operating from certainty, not insecurity. The world can sense it. People feel it. Opportunities bend toward it. Confidence isn't built by saying, I can do it. It's built by proving it to yourself over and over until doubt runs out of oxygen. You can't master your life if you can't master a single day. Every day is a vote for the person you're becoming. Every choice compounds. Every sacrifice builds a foundation. The difference between those who wish and those who win is consistency. Small steps, done with relentless focus, create irreversible change. It's not glamorous, it's not fast, but it's real. And when you finally look back, you'll realize that every struggle, every delay, every lonely night was part of your training. The universe doesn't test you to see if you're strong. It tests you to make you strong. There's a version of you that's already living the life you dream of. They're not luckier. They're not smarter. They're just disciplined enough to act when you hesitate. They've turned pain into purpose, fear into fuel, doubt into direction. And the only difference between you and them is the moment you decide you're done settling. The second you stop waiting for the world to change and start becoming the change yourself. You can feel it, can't you? That pull inside. The one that tells you this message isn't just motivation. It's a mirror. It's showing you what you already know to be true. That you are meant for more. That your time isn't someday. It's now. Every delay costs you a piece of your potential. Every excuse keeps you chained to who you no longer are. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to move while afraid, because the moment you move, the fear begins to lose its power. This is your turning point. The line between who you were and who you're becoming. You've survived everything that tried to break you. Now it's time to create everything that will build you. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Start moving. Start mastering. Start becoming the version of yourself that wealth, freedom, and purpose have been waiting for. Because once you decide, nothing, not fear, not failure, not fate, can stop you, there comes a moment when you realize that no one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not fate. You, only you. And that truth can feel terrifying at first, like standing at the edge of a cliff with no one behind you. But that's the same truth that sets you free. Because when you stop waiting for rescue, you finally start building wings. You stop depending on luck and start creating momentum. You stop hoping life will get easier and start making yourself stronger. That's the beginning of true power, the kind that can't be taken, only earned. You spent years chasing results while avoiding responsibility. You want the reward but fear the risk. You crave freedom but cling to control. But control isn't safety, it's suffocation. You can't grow while gripping the past. You can't evolve while protecting your comfort. Every transformation demands sacrifice. You have to lose who you were to become who you were meant to be. And yes, it's painful. Growth always is. But so is staying the same. The difference is one pain breaks you. The other rebuilds you. The richest people in the world aren't obsessed with money. They're obsessed with mastery. They study themselves like scientists, experiment with discipline, rewire their habits like engineers. They understand that wealth is a mirror that reflects the mind holding it. If you can't manage your emotions, you can't manage success. If you can't stay calm under pressure, money will magnify your chaos. That's why most people lose what they earn. They get what they want before becoming the kind of person who can keep it. Every great life is built on delayed gratification. While the world chases comfort, the masters chase control. They do the work no one sees for a future everyone envies. They wake up before doubt. They move before motivation. They've trained their minds to obey purpose, not feelings. Feelings fade. Focus doesn't. Every moment you spend negotiating with your goals, someone else is executing theirs. The clock doesn't pause for fear. The world doesn't slow down for hesitation. And every second you waste will one day echo as regret. You keep thinking you need more time. You don't. You need more urgency. You need to stop treating your potential like it's infinite, because it isn't. Every day you delay, your dreams decay a little more. Time is not patient. It rewards the bold and punishes the hesitant. The window of opportunity is always closing, and the longer you wait to act, the harder it becomes to catch up. You can either be the person who makes excuses or the one who makes moves. Both cost energy, but only one pays dividends. And here's the truth no one wants to admit: most people will never taste real freedom. Not because they can't, but because they won't. They'd rather be comfortable in the cage than uncomfortable in the climb. They talk about change, but fear what it will take. They crave success, but worship distraction. They want transformation without friction, power without discipline, progress without pressure. But nothing of value is born in comfort. Every empire, every legacy, every revolution began with discomfort that refused to be ignored. You already have everything you need to rise: the mind, the strength, the will. What you lack isn't ability, it's decision. The moment you decide that failure is not fatal, everything changes. Fear loses its leverage. Doubt loses its voice. The game shifts. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. You stop counting losses and start counting lessons. You stop waiting for permission and start giving it to yourself. You've survived storms that were meant to destroy you. You've faced moments that should have broken you. Yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still capable of more. Don't waste that resilience on hesitation. You've already proven you can endure pain. Now prove you can use it. Turn it into fuel. Turn it into focus. Let every scar remind you that you've been tested and that you're still here for a reason. This is your edge. This is your awakening, the point where fear and faith collide and you choose faith. The world belongs to those who move first, who act when others wait, who bet on themselves when no one else will. The science of self-mastery isn't about control over life. It's about control over yourself. And when you master yourself, wealth stops being something you chase. It becomes something you create every single day with every single choice. Everything changes the moment you realize you were never fighting the world, you were fighting yourself. Every doubt, every delay, every hesitation was your own mind resisting its evolution. You thought the battle was external, but it's always been internal. The fear wasn't out there, it was in here. And the second you understand that, the world starts to move differently, because when you stop being your own obstacle, nothing outside of you can stop you either. That's the real breakthrough. The moment you shift from victim to creator, from reaction to intention, from waiting to winning. You've been trained to think success is something you find. It's not. It's something you build piece by piece, habit by habit, day by day. And every choice either sharpens you or dulls you. There's no neutral ground. You're either evolving or eroding. The mind doesn't stay still. It's always adapting to what you feed it. Feed it fear, and it builds walls. Feed it focus, and it builds doors. That's why mastery begins long before results appear. It starts in the unseen hours, in the silence, in the decisions no one applauds. That's where the foundation for wealth, power, and peace is laid, inside before it ever shows outside. And yet, most people never get this far. They get close, but then comfort calls them back. The voice of the old self whispers, "You've done enough. Take it easy. You deserve a break." But breaks turn into backslides. Comfort turns into captivity. And before they know it, they're back where they started, dreaming of a life they once touched but never held. The greatest trap isn't failure. It's almost succeeding, because almost feels close enough to stop you from pushing further. You can't afford to settle. You can't afford to pause your potential because it's inconvenient. Every moment you hesitate, your future self is waiting, watching, wondering if you'll finally show up this time. The life you want doesn't belong to someone else. It's not a prize waiting at the end of luck. It's a result of persistence, of courage, of the willingness to do what most won't. You don't need to move fast, you just need to move forward. Every single day, no exceptions. The truth is, your environment is either feeding your fire or drowning it. You can't keep surrounding yourself with people who settle and expect to rise. Energy is contagious. Mindsets are viral. The conversations you entertain shape your reality. Protect your focus like it's currency, because it is. Every distraction you indulge steals a piece of your destiny. Every wasted hour is an investment in regret. The richest people on earth aren't just rich in money, they're rich in attention. They direct it with precision, like a weapon. They understand that wherever focus goes, results grow. You need to ask yourself, what are you really committed to, comfort or change? Because both require sacrifice. Comfort demands your potential. Change demands your excuses. One leads to the life you've always known, the other leads to the life you've always wanted. But you can't have both. You must choose. Every morning, every decision, every moment of hesitation is a test, and how you respond determines everything. The power you're searching for isn't waiting in some distant future. It's in this exact second, hidden in your ability to act despite uncertainty. That's where transformation happens, in movement, not thought. You don't think your way into a new life, you act your way into it. One decision at a time, one promise kept, one moment of courage repeated until it becomes your new normal. That's how the mind rewires. That's how self-mastery is born. You have to stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I never try? Failure hurts, but regret haunts. And the pain of regret lasts longer than the pain of discipline ever will. Every successful person you admire once stood exactly where you are, unsure, scared, uncertain. The difference is they moved anyway. They turned fear into focus, hesitation into hunger, doubt into direction. They didn't wait for clarity. They created it. And that's what this journey is about. It's not about getting rich. It's about becoming unbreakable. Because the richest version of you isn't measured by what's in your bank account. It's measured by what's inside your mind, the discipline, the resilience, the unshakable belief that no matter what happens, you can rebuild, reinvent, and rise again. That's real wealth. That's self-mastery. And once you taste that level of power, you'll never trade it for comfort again. The hardest truth to accept is that no one is holding you back anymore. The excuses have expired. The fear has been exposed. The limits were never real. They were habits dressed as logic. And now you have a choice. You can either keep living inside that familiar cage, or you can finally step into the unknown and meet the version of yourself that's been waiting all along. The one who doesn't settle. The one who doesn't explain. The one who moves with quiet certainty because they've stopped asking for permission to become powerful. You've seen glimpses of that version before. In moments when you pushed past exhaustion, when you ignored doubt, when you acted on instinct, and something inside you came alive. That was you without fear. That was the real you before the world taught you to shrink. You don't need to find your potential. You've already met it. You just keep walking away from it because it demands more than comfort is willing to give. But comfort has a cost. It steals your urgency. It kills your hunger. It makes you forget that life doesn't slow down for hesitation. Every dream you delay starts to decay. Every opportunity ignored becomes a door that closes a little tighter each day. And one day, if you're not careful, you'll wake up realizing the world moved forward without you. That's why you must move now. Not next week, not when it feels right now. Because nothing changes until you do. You can't wait for the right conditions to begin. The conditions become right only after you begin. The universe responds to movement, not hesitation. It rewards momentum, not perfection. Every great life starts with a single defiant act, a decision to move even when it doesn't make sense. You don't need the full plan. You just need to take the next step, then another, then another. Consistency will build clarity. Action will build confidence. And one day, You'll realize that the version of you who once hesitated is gone, replaced by someone who executes without fear. The only thing separating you from your breakthrough is how you respond when it gets hard. Because it will get hard. The mind will scream to stop. The body will beg for comfort. The world will test your patience. But mastery is born in the moments when quitting feels easiest, when no one is watching, when it's not exciting anymore. That's when you discover whether your dream is a wish or a mission. You have to decide that mediocrity is no longer an option. You have to raise your standards until they make you uncomfortable. Because comfort breeds nothing. The people who build extraordinary lives aren't special. They're relentless. They refuse to compromise. They live by rules. They write for themselves. They don't wait for the right emotions to act. They act, and the right emotions follow. That's the formula: discipline before desire, commitment before confidence, action before clarity. Everything you want, wealth, freedom, power, sits on the other side of your patterns. You can't build a new life with the same behaviors that built the old one. You can't think small and expect big results. You can't keep feeding distraction and expect discipline to grow. You must choose who you want to become, and then prove it with every action. The mind doesn't respect intentions, it obeys repetition. So repeat what builds you, repeat what sharpens you, repeat what aligns with your highest self until it becomes automatic. And when you finally start to rise, the world will test you again. Not to destroy you, but to see if your growth is real. You'll face setbacks designed to shake your confidence. You'll lose people who can't follow your pace. You'll walk through seasons of silence where it feels like no one sees your progress. But that's how mastery is forged, in fire, not applause. Every challenge is proof you're evolving. Every loss is training for the strength you're about to need. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards proof. You've spent enough time preparing, planning, waiting for the perfect start. This is the moment you prove it. This is where you stop chasing validation and start creating transformation. You've already survived everything that tried to stop you. Now it's time to build everything that will define you. No more waiting, no more fear, no more someday. The version of you that's meant to lead, to win, to rise isn't in the future. It's here, and it's time. You're standing on the edge of everything you've ever wanted, but most people never take the step. They stare at the edge, convincing themselves the timing isn't right. They tell themselves they need more money, more support, more certainty. But the truth is, the only thing missing is commitment. Life doesn't hand out guarantees. It responds to decisions. And every second you wait for a sign is another second wasted that could have been proof. You don't need more time. You need to decide that this is the moment you stop watching others win and start becoming the reason you do. The world doesn't owe you success. It owes you nothing, but it will mirror back exactly who you are being. If you show up halfway, you'll get halfway results. If you show up fully, relentlessly, without apology, the world will eventually have no choice but to match your energy. That's the law of creation. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. So ask yourself, who are you being when no one is watching? Are you the person who keeps promises to themselves or the one who breaks them for comfort? Because wealth, mastery, freedom, they only follow those who can be trusted with them. Every time you choose distraction over discipline, you teach your brain that comfort matters more than destiny. And the more you feed that pattern, the harder it becomes to break. But you can break it right now. One decision can reset the entire trajectory of your life. It won't happen overnight. It won't be easy. But easy has never built anything worth having. The mind grows stronger under pressure. The soul sharpens in the fire. That's why most people never make it. They're too focused on avoiding the fire instead of becoming it. You must reach the point where your goals are not optional, where success isn't something you hope for, it's something you demand from yourself. That level of obsession makes the impossible inevitable, because the universe doesn't respond to weak intentions. It responds to energy that cannot be ignored. When you move with certainty, the world reorganizes itself around you. Doors open, people appear, opportunities align, not because you're lucky, but because you finally match the frequency of what you were chasing. And yes, it will get lonely. Growth always is. You'll outgrow conversations that used to excite you. You'll lose people who can't understand your vision. You'll have days when no one believes in you, when everything feels like it's falling apart. That's the part most people can't handle, the silence between effort and reward. But that silence is sacred. It's where you're being built. When no one claps, when no one notices, when no one cares, that's when your power is forged. Because mastery doesn't need validation. It only needs consistency. You have to learn to fall in love with the process more than the outcome. Because the process is where identity is formed. It's where strength replaces weakness. It's where clarity is carved from chaos. Every day you show up is proof you're becoming someone new. And every small win, every minor victory is momentum. Keep stacking them, keep moving, keep choosing progress over pride, purpose over pleasure, creation over comfort, because once you start seeing results, you'll realize none of it was random. Every sacrifice was a seed. Every moment of discipline was an investment in the life you're now building. But understand this. Success will test you more than failure ever did. When things start working, the temptation to slow down will creep in. You'll feel the urge to relax, to take your foot off the gas. Don't. Momentum is fragile. One moment of comfort can undo months of discipline. The climb doesn't stop when you reach the top, it stops when you stop climbing. So stay hungry, stay dangerous, stay aware of how easily the mind slips back into comfort when it feels safe. The goal isn't just to win once, it's to never lose yourself again. You already know what needs to be done. The steps aren't complicated. The rules haven't changed. Show up, do the work, refuse to quit, build until the world has no choice but to notice. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is measured in decisions, not dreams. The clock is ticking, and the world won't wait for you to be ready. So move now, act now, become the person your future needs you to be. Because the truth is, no one's coming, no one's saving you. But once you master yourself, you won't need saving. You'll become unstoppable. There's a moment when everything you've been chasing starts to feel real. It's not when the money comes or when others start to notice. It's the quiet shift that happens inside you. The moment you realize you were no longer pretending to be the person you said you would become. You are becoming them. The discipline that once felt forced now feels natural. The sacrifices that once hurt now feel like fuel. The doubts that once controlled you now sound small. That's the moment mastery begins. Not when you reach the goal, but when you realize nothing can pull you back to who you were before. But this is where most people stop. They confuse progress for arrival. They get a taste of success and think the work is done. They start protecting what they've built instead of expanding it. They start playing not to lose instead of playing to win. That's the trap. Comfort disguised as achievement. It's the reason so many never reach their full potential, because they mistake motion for momentum and momentum for mastery. Real mastery is a constant evolution. It's refusing to settle no matter how far you've come. It's the hunger that never leaves, even when you're full. You must train your mind to love the climb more than the view, because the higher you go, the steeper it gets. The air gets thinner, and the people around you fewer. That's not a sign to stop. It's a sign you're getting closer to something few ever touch. You can't ask for greatness and expect ease. The two cannot coexist. Every obstacle is an invitation to expand. Every setback, a test of your endurance. The world is watching to see how badly you want it. The universe doesn't give you what you ask for. It gives you what you prove you can handle. You have to want this so badly that you're willing to outlast your old self. Because that's the real competition. Not the market, not the critics, not the world. It's the version of you that wants to stay the same. That voice that whispers, "You've done enough." That's the voice that kills more dreams than failure ever will. You silence it not with words, but with action. Every day you wake up early when you don't want to. Every day you push when you're tired. Every day you refuse to negotiate with weakness. You are rewriting your story. You're teaching your subconscious that this is who you are now. Not a dreamer, not a maybe, a master in motion. And make no mistake, people will doubt you. They'll question your intensity, your focus, your drive. They'll call it obsession, arrogance, selfishness. But that's because they see in you what they've buried in themselves, the potential they abandoned. Don't let their fear infect your vision. Don't let their comfort dilute your fire. You were not built to live small. You were built to lead, to build, to create something that outlasts you. That requires an edge most people will never understand. It means showing up when no one claps. It means staying sharp when others get soft. It means holding yourself to a standard so high that even your excuses get scared. Because when you operate at that level, everything changes. You stop chasing validation. You stop seeking shortcuts. You stop waiting for permission. You move differently. You think differently. You attract differently. Wealth begins to flow not because you're lucky, but because you've aligned your habits, your thoughts, your energy with the person who deserves it. Money follows mastery, always. It's not about working harder. It's about working from a higher state of being. A state built on discipline, purpose, and unshakable belief. And that belief, it's not something you find, it's something you build. Brick by brick, choice by choice, every time you act despite fear, every time you follow through despite doubt, every time you keep going despite pain, you reinforce it. Until one day, belief becomes identity, and identity becomes destiny. That's when wealth stops being something you chase and becomes something you attract. That's when the world finally sees what you've known all along. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were meant to be limitless. And now, nothing can stop you but the limits you refuse to break. At some point, you realize the game isn't about money anymore. It's about control. Control over your mind, your habits, your emotions. Because the truth is, the world doesn't reward the smartest or the strongest. It rewards the most disciplined. The ones who can keep their focus when everyone else gets distracted. The ones who can delay gratification when others are chasing the quick fix. That's the real science of self-mastery. It's not mystical. It's neurological. Every time you resist comfort, you rewire your brain for strength. Every time you follow through, even when it hurts, you prove to your subconscious that you are in control. That's how power is built. One decision at a time, in silence, with no audience, no applause. And that's what separates the average from the extraordinary. Average people react. Masters respond. Average people chase motivation. Masters build systems. Average people seek pleasure. Masters seek progress. The difference isn't talent. It's training. It's who can remain calm in chaos, who can hold their vision when everything seems uncertain. That's not luck. That's psychology. Because your brain will always try to protect you from discomfort, but wealth and mastery live on the other side of it. Every time you step into that discomfort willingly, you teach your brain that it's safe to grow. You condition yourself to crave challenge instead of escape. That's when the world starts to bend in your favor. You start noticing opportunities others overlook. You start seeing patterns in chaos. You start creating instead of consuming. You stop waiting for inspiration because discipline becomes your default state. That's when everything changes. The same 24 hours that felt like a burden now feel like a weapon. Every moment becomes leverage. Every habit becomes currency. You begin to understand that getting rich isn't about chasing money. It's about mastering behavior. When your emotions stop controlling you, your results become predictable. That's the point where wealth stops being accidental and starts being inevitable. But here's the part no one tells you. Self-mastery is war. Not against the world, but against the version of you that keeps settling. Every time you think about giving up, that's not weakness, it's resistance. The old self fighting to survive. You have to be ruthless with it. You have to outthink it, outwork it, outlast it, because the mind is designed to keep you safe, not successful. It will try to seduce you with comfort, with distractions, with excuses that sound logical. But logic doesn't create change. Conviction does. You can't think your way into greatness. You have to feel your way through fear, through doubt, through exhaustion, until your actions become instinct. Every master has a moment when they break, when everything inside screams to stop, when the pain feels too heavy, the vision too far. That's the threshold, the invisible line that separates those who talk about success from those who embody it. If you push past that point even once, you'll never be the same, because you'll have proof. Proof that you're stronger than your emotions, proof that you can bend reality through will alone. That proof is priceless. It's what gives you the confidence to take bigger risks, to move faster, to dream louder. Once you have it, fear loses its power over you. You start living differently. You stop chasing balance and start seeking alignment. You stop asking for permission and start taking ownership. You realize that everything you want already exists. You just have to become the person who can hold it. And that means mastery must come before money, because wealth without wisdom is a curse. It amplifies who you are. If you're undisciplined, it exposes you. If you're centered, it frees you. The goal isn't just to make money. It's to build the kind of character that can multiply it, sustain it, and use it for something greater than yourself. That's what true freedom feels like. Not the absence of struggle, but the mastery of it. You stop running from the hard things and start running toward them. You stop fearing failure and start seeing it as feedback. You stop trying to control outcomes and start controlling your state. That's self-mastery. That's wealth. That's power. The moment you understand that your mind is the real asset, everything external becomes secondary. You can lose it all and rebuild again, because now you know how. You've become the architect, not the result. And once you reach that level, nothing outside you can break you again. Most people never realize how close they are to transformation when they quit. They think the pain means it's not working, when in truth, it's proof that it is. Growth hurts because you're shedding an old identity, one built on limitations, fear, and hesitation. Every time you feel resistance, it's not a sign to stop. It's the body's signal that you're stepping beyond what's familiar. That discomfort you keep trying to escape is the exact doorway to everything you've been chasing. Step through it. Most won't. Most will retreat into comfort, telling themselves it wasn't meant to be, but not you. You've seen what happens when you stop settling. You've tasted progress. You can't go back to average now. Self-mastery begins the moment you stop negotiating with your excuses. The mind will tell you that you deserve a break, that you've earned the right to slow down. But comfort is a thief. It steals potential disguised as rest. Every time you delay action, you feed weakness. Every time you follow through, you feed power. And the one you feed most becomes your future. That's the law of creation. What you reinforce daily becomes who you are. It's not what you say you want. It's what you prove through repetition. Discipline isn't a punishment. It's liberation. It frees you from the prison of inconsistency, from the chaos of emotion, from the chains of mediocrity. There's a reason only a few ever build real wealth. It demands that you evolve faster than your circumstances. Money is not the goal. It's feedback. It reflects how deeply you've mastered yourself. If you can't manage your thoughts, you can't manage abundance. If you can't control your impulses, you can't sustain success. That's why most lose it as quickly as they gain it. They change their income without changing their identity. True wealth comes when your habits, your mindset, and your energy are in alignment. When you can stay calm in chaos. When you can execute without emotion. When you no longer seek validation because your confidence is built from proof, not praise. And that proof, it's forged in silence. It's built on the mornings when no one's watching, on the nights when no one's cheering. It's born in the moments when quitting seems easier, but you stay. That's when identity transforms. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows where only your willpower can see you. Every act of discipline adds up. Every choice becomes data for your future self. Eventually, the world starts to notice what you've known all along. That you were never driven by attention, but by evolution. That's the kind of person the world rewards. The one who doesn't just work harder, but works truer. When you reach this level, you stop chasing and start attracting. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. Your energy becomes magnetic because it's rooted in conviction. You no longer need to prove your worth. You embody it. And people can feel that. Opportunities start appearing, not because they're new, but because your awareness finally expanded enough to see them. The universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're ready to handle. That's why mastery must come first. Without it, success will break you. With it, success becomes effortless. But understand, this path will test everything you believe about yourself. It will strip away your illusions. It will expose your fears. It will demand that you let go of everything small. The question is, will you let it? Will you allow yourself to become someone unrecognizable to your past self? Because that's what real transformation is. The death of who you were so something greater can take your place. The moment you stop resisting that death, life begins to open in ways you can't imagine. So stop waiting for confidence. Stop waiting for clarity. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. None of that comes first. Action comes first. Courage comes first. The rest follows. You've been given one mind, one body, one chance to see what you're truly capable of. Don't waste it trying to fit into a version of yourself that was never meant to last. The clock is ticking. Every hesitation is a stolen opportunity. You don't have time to doubt anymore. This is your moment. Take control. Master yourself. And watch as the world finally mirrors back the power you've had all along. You've been fighting battles no one sees, carrying weights no one else feels. And yet, you keep moving. That's the part no one tells you. The strength it takes to keep showing up when the results don't match the effort. When it feels like the universe is silent. But it's in that silence where your transformation is happening. The delay isn't denial, it's calibration. The world is aligning with your frequency, testing your consistency before it rewards your belief. Because wealth, mastery, success, they don't respond to wishes. They respond to energy that refuses to back down. Every day, you're casting votes for the person you'll become. Every decision, every habit, every moment of discipline is shaping your destiny. The question is, are you voting for your future or your fears? Because you can't want freedom and cling to comfort at the same time. You can't build an extraordinary life with ordinary effort. The world doesn't bend for people who kind of want it. It bends for the ones who burn for it, the ones who wake up every day and choose purpose over pleasure. That's what separates the few who rise from the many who wish. The truth is, success is not a mystery. It's a math equation written in discipline. Small actions done daily, compounded over time, create empires. But most people never see the results because they quit before the math adds up. They give up in the middle of the equation, right before the exponential curve begins. That's why the rich get richer, not just financially, but mentally. They've trained themselves to stay in the game longer than everyone else. They've learned to make pain profitable, to turn struggle into strategy. That's mastery. That's self-control in motion. You can't control outcomes, but you can control input. You can't predict timing, but you can predict effort. You can't force the harvest, but you can plant every day with relentless faith. That's how you build unshakable confidence, not by wishing for certainty, but by earning it through repetition. Confidence doesn't come from motivation, it comes from evidence. The evidence that you do what you say you'll do, that when life hits you don't crumble, you adapt. That when the old you wants to quit, the new you takes over. That's how legends are built. Not overnight, but over countless days of invisible consistency. And that consistency changes your identity. You stop needing external validation because you start trusting your own word. You stop chasing success because you become success in motion. The same energy that once fueled doubt now fuels creation. You move differently. You think faster. You see opportunities where others see obstacles. You become the type of person who attracts wealth because you've become valuable. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's what most people miss. Getting rich isn't about chasing money. It's about becoming the kind of person money can trust. But the journey doesn't get easier. It gets heavier. Because the higher you climb, the more responsibility you carry. The stakes rise. The noise gets louder. The pressure intensifies. But so does your strength. You start to realize that pressure isn't punishment. It's proof. The universe is testing how badly you want it. It's not trying to break you. It's trying to build capacity. Because the version of you that started this journey can't handle the life you're stepping into. You have to evolve. You have to expand. You have to become unrecognizable to who you once were. This is the price of greatness, the willingness to be misunderstood, doubted, and overlooked while you build in silence. The patience to keep going when results are invisible. The courage to believe when no one else does. That's what mastery demands. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. You will fall. You will fail. But if you rise every time, you'll rise higher than anyone who never tried. So look at where you are right now. Everything in your life is a reflection of what you've tolerated, what you've believed, what you've repeated. If you want more, you must become more. This is not motivation, it's mathematics. Energy in, results out. But the quality of that energy determines everything. So feed your faith, starve your excuses, and move with urgency, because one day this version of you will be gone. And the only question that will matter is, did you master yourself or did the world master you? Everything you want exists on the other side of a decision, not someday, not when it's convenient, right now, because waiting for the perfect time is how dreams die slowly. Perfection is a myth created by fear to keep you still. You say you're planning, but really you're hesitating. You say you're thinking, but really you're afraid. Afraid to fail, afraid to be seen trying, afraid to lose what little comfort you have left. But comfort doesn't build empires. It kills them before they ever begin. You weren't born to live safely. You were born to build something that outlives you. The greatest trap of all is potential. People waste their entire lives being almost ready, almost committed, almost consistent, but almost never pays. The world doesn't remember the almost. It remembers the ones who decided, the ones who acted when it didn't make sense, the ones who walked through fear instead of negotiating with it. Because fear doesn't disappear when you wait, it grows stronger. You can't think your way into courage. You have to act your way into it. Every time you move despite fear, you shrink it. Every time you hesitate, you feed it. You have to understand success isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters every single day, no matter how you feel. Feelings lie. Discipline tells the truth. Your emotions are not commands, they're tests. Every moment you choose purpose over pleasure. You rewire your mind for greatness. You create a pattern that compounds. That's how identity is built, not through motivation, but through momentum. You don't need to believe in yourself at first, you just need to start. Belief comes after evidence, and evidence comes after action. The problem is most people want to skip the pain. They want results without resistance. But pain is the process. It's not the enemy. It's the architect. Every struggle you face is carving capacity. Every disappointment is building resilience. Every loss is teaching you precision. You can't shortcut that. You can't fake it. The universe only promotes those who can carry the weight of what they're asking for. That's why the climb feels steep. That's why the pressure is heavy. It's shaping you for the altitude. It's making sure you don't crumble under the very success you say you want. You have to see pain differently. Stop running from it. Use it. Let it sharpen you. Let it remind you that you're alive, that you're capable, that you're becoming. You can't break a person who turns pain into power. You can't defeat someone who sees struggle as strategy. The moment you realize that, everything changes. Failure stops being final. Fear stops being a wall. And every setback becomes raw material for a stronger version of you. That's self-mastery. That's the foundation of wealth. That's where the powerful are forged. Because wealth isn't just money, it's control. Control over your time, your focus, your emotions. It's the ability to move through chaos and remain centered, to face uncertainty and remain calm. That kind of control doesn't come from luck. It comes from repetition. It's built in the quiet hours, in the small decisions no one sees. It's built when you hold yourself accountable to a higher standard, even when no one's watching. That's how you earn freedom. That's how you earn trust from yourself first. And once you trust yourself completely, you become unstoppable. You no longer need to prove anything. You no longer chase validation. You move with intention, with clarity, with conviction. People can feel it. The world starts to respond differently because you're finally aligned. Your words, your thoughts, your actions all moving as one. That's what creates power. That's what attracts wealth. Not the chasing, but the becoming. So stop waiting. Stop negotiating with your dreams. Stop believing that someday will save you. Someday isn't real. This moment is. Everything changes when you decide that enough is enough. When you decide to master yourself instead of your excuses. When you decide that you'd rather suffer for progress than stay comfortable in regret. That's the moment life opens up. That's the moment wealth begins. That's the moment the world finally steps aside and lets you through because you've proven you're no longer asking for permission. You're taking ownership. And that's what self-mastery truly is. You've spent so much of your life waiting for the right moment, but deep down you already know it doesn't exist. There's no perfect time to start, no magical sign that tells you it's safe to leap. The people who win in life aren't the ones who wait for clarity. They're the ones who move through chaos. They act before they feel ready. They bet on themselves when logic says not to, because they understand that hesitation kills more dreams than failure ever could. Every second you wait, the future you're meant to live drifts further away. You think you're being patient, but you're actually choosing to stay the same. Every choice you make is a declaration of who you believe you are. When you procrastinate, you're saying you're not capable. When you take action, you're saying you are. The universe listens to energy, not excuses. It mirrors what you broadcast. You can't expect abundance while living in hesitation. You can't attract strength while practicing weakness. The person you want to become is already waiting for you, but they won't step forward until you do. You don't manifest wealth by wishing for it. You earn it by aligning your thoughts, actions, and emotions into one unstoppable force. But this is where most people break. They want change, but not the cost of it. They want freedom, but not the responsibility that comes with it. They chase success until it demands sacrifice, and then they shrink. The truth is, mastery isn't a gift, it's a trade. You give up everything that's fake to become everything that's real. You give up comfort for clarity, distraction for discipline, ego for evolution. The price feels high because it requires the death of who you were. But that's how transformation works. You don't step into a new life until you're willing to leave the old one behind.